and I'm going to have 2 units to the win on number 1, Dunkel.
Dunkel, 100 metres to go, strides clear from Mancayan, and Dunkel won the first. Dunkel, 3/4.
Finally, we get to another play. I'm having 2 units to win on number 7, Campionessa.
Campionessa, 100 to go. Fair de Clare sticking with her. Fair de Clare and Campionessa. It's a head bomber.
Yeah, I'm heavily in the camp of Mr. Brightside.
But it's Mr. Brightside clear, and he's going to rack up another one. Mr. Brightside, one from Pericles, Buffalo River, Dom to shoot.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's preview, we focus on Australian Guineas Day from Flemington, featuring 9 out of the 10 races on the card because one's a 2-year-old race. The Group 1 Australian Guineas looks a cracker. Let's get straight on with it. Race 1 to start the day at Flemington is a mare's handicap over the 1100 metres. The favourite at the moment just is Sons Doot at 3.30 for Mark Walker and Celine Gaudre. Tintuki from Sydney is 3.40. Cinderella Days $3.70. Waltz On By $7. End Journey $9.50 and the rest are double figures. So the replay I've got highlighted here is of Son Doot. This is most likely going to be my on-top selection. This horse loves time between runs, so I'm not concerned whatsoever about the 5 to 6 week break between runs for this horse. Was a very good winner last start, fending off a Little Deep, who then went on to run a decent race in the Balmain Stakes behind Vagrant. I think that's good enough form to be winning this. Celine Gaudre takes the 1.5 kilos off, brings it down to 53.5 kilos. Draws gate 5 for a nice run. Hopefully just behind the speed down the straight, protected from the 25k an hour winds, and I just think it's the safest horse in the race to be on top. There's a few other queries on the other horses, like Tintuki could win, but first go down the straight, always not sure. Cinderella Days beat Imperatriz and Bella Nipotina in a jump out last start, but it's got to carry the weight and it's never been down the straight. So there's a few queries there, and I just think Son Doot is in red hot form and can keep the winning streak going. Race 2 is a benchmark 84 over the 2,000 metres. This was the toughest race on the day, in my opinion. Happy to take on a Ramco at the moment at $2.45. Just think it's too short. We'll get a good run on speed, but faces a tougher opposition this start. Open 210, which was way unders as well. Crimson Light, our girls in this race, number 9, 54 kilos, Mickey D. I had 4 or 5 of these really even, and Crimson Light was one of the 4 to 5. So I'd probably have Crimson Light on top if she runs at Flemington, but she's also entered for Moonee Valley on Friday night, and I think we're going to Moonee Valley, but not sure because we haven't heard from Mick Kent. So outside of Crimson Light, Strawberry Rock, Kettle Hill, and Up and Under were all equal, so I'm going to have to try and pick one of those. But you have to stay tuned for that. Twitter, YouTube community, race morning for the full race card tips. Be tuned for that. Race 3 is a benchmark 78 over the 1200 metres. This is an open field, $5 favourites, both Master Montaro and Big Watch. The replay I've got highlighted though is that of Moral Force for Lindsay Smith. This horse, this was its first up run off a 2 years I should say, a 2-year break over 1200 metres. It sprinted really well fresh. Now I know it didn't beat a lot here. The horse that finished second is Thunder Point, who is a decent horse but isn't a Saturday horse. Didn't beat much, but the way it beat them was really good. And I just think this race on Saturday doesn't have a lot of quality. Like the favourite's Big Watch, who only 2 or 3 starts ago was racing Wednesday meeting at Sandown. So it's not like it's a really good field that Moral Force is up against. I'm playing in that race, as you would have seen down the bottom. 0.75 units to win Moral Force. It should get a good run from gate 2, just in behind the speed. Hopefully protected from the wind somehow. It gets on the outside of Ivan's Hero in the on-speed position. And the other one is Shove Over. I think this horse represents some really good value at $9.50. Celine Gaudre claiming the 1.5 kilos is ideal. Gate 7 down the straight's ideal. Is a last start winner, and I think represents more value than Master Montaro. So I'm with Moral Force and Shove Over in race number 3. Race number 4 is a 2-year-old race. Skip past that. Race number 5 is a 3-year-old fillies handicap over the 1100 metres, and the replay we've got highlighted here is off the favourite Moesha, currently at $4.80. This horse, look, it ran really well first up in the Kevin Hayes, finishing 4th from an impossible position back last. Now, the reason why I think I'm keen to be with this horse on Saturday is that Peter Moody and Catherine Coleman have elected to go for this race over the English Sprint. Could have gone in the English Sprint, which is where Estrella and Lazargo and Brazen Style, the first three in the Kevin Hayes, have gone. But Moesha's chosen to go to a race of less prize money. So I think it's a really good move, and it's against lesser quality horses as well. So 1 unit the win, Moesha confident. The other one is 0.5 units the win on Elative, number 10. Now, this horse didn't have much luck at Pakenham. Those that watch the ratings show would know that I've highlighted this horse. The only query I've got is that it hasn't won a race before, but Damien Lane chooses to ride Elative over another horse in the race called Down Low at $9.50. So I think that's a really good push. Elative was unlucky not to win one of the Future Stars Series lead-up races last start. So I think Elative and Moesha are the ones for me in race number 5. Race number 6 is a benchmark 84 over the 1600 metres, and Another Will has come up as short price favourite at $1.65. I've got it on top. This was its last start win at Caulfield, but I wasn't as confident as last start. Last start, I said I'd be really surprised if it lost, and it was the most confident I've been in a while in a horse's winning chances. This start, I think it's actually a little bit short at $1.65, but it should still probably just win, shouldn't it? It's better than the rest of these. Well, at least that's what it's shown to date. But it beat Zamborghini by a fair space here, but Zamborghini gets a big weight swing on Another Will. However, Another Will was eased up on the line and should have won by more. So outside of Another Will, I think Zamborghini and even Aristonus, if it gets a decent run, will challenge. But they're going to have to catch up to Another Will because he looks like he's on another level. It's that time of the week. It's Last Man Standing. And wow, what a week we had last week. The Balnarring boys are first and second by a fair way. Me and Simon are on top by a fair way. Simon marginally better, on about 870 ahead of me. Sammy's still in the green. Sky High Horse Racing and Geordie have some catching up to do. And finally, Simon has got me the tips on time for my video. So that's absolutely outstanding. What's he having this week, the leader? He's having $100 each way bet on Flemington Race 5 at number 3, Peace Treaty. And then $100 the place on Cap Ferrat in the Australian Guineas. And then all up win, $100. Son Doot into Another Will. Me, I couldn't find too many good things. Well, couldn't find a good thing at all, but I think Riff Rocket's close to that, and I'm just going to have a $300 win bet on Riff Rocket for the Last Man Standing. Sammy is just going to have a $500 win on Fangirl. He's been reserved going the $100 spends and $150 spends the past couple of weeks, but he's going big this week. Fangirl, 500 the win, and he's messaged me that if Fangirl is scratched, he will have 500 the win on Riff Rocket instead. Sky High Horse Racing is having a $300 win multi, Aramco into Bold Bastille into Another Will, and Geordie is having $100 on 5 different horses. $100 the win on Our Kobe Sun, $100 the place on Montana Dawn and the Sweet Embrace, and then $100 the win on Fangirl, $100 the win Riff Rocket, and $100 the win on Learning to Fly. That's why we're doing Last Man Standing this week. Race 7 is the English Sprint over the 1200 metres for the 3-year-olds. This race is pretty hard, as it always is each and every year, but my on-top selection at the moment is Caballas, the horse coming down from Sydney, for Bjorn Baker and Derby Racing. Now, I just cannot get out of my head the English Sprint that Overpass won a couple of years ago. Overpass was the top weight in this race, drew really wide, Josh Parr rode it, it was coming down from Sydney, and it won. And I'm just seeing the same setup for Caballas as Overpass. However, Overpass was a leader and Caballas just sits in behind them. I think Caballas deserves to be on top selection. In terms of the Melbourne form, Estrella has to handle the straight the first time, which is a little bit of a query, but not too much. But Lazargo gets a big weight swing on Estrella. Lazargo's 20s and Estrella's 390s. I just think Lazargo represents more value than Estrella there. And in terms of the others, it's really, really even. So my on-top selection would be Caballas, bringing the different form. Race number 8 is the feature. It's the Group 1 Australian Guineas over the 1600 metres for the 3-year-olds. This horse has somehow ended up to be my best bet of the day at Flemington. On a meeting where I'm not too confident on any of them, but number 1, RIFF Rocket, is going to be my best bet of the day. I'm going to have 2 units to win on RIFF Rocket. I really like this win last start in the CSAs that we're taking a look at. Didn't expect it to win, but it produced a powerful turn of foot off of a 1400 meter distance to win. King Colorado, the horse that ran second, was second up on that occasion, so I think RIFF Rocket takes more improvement out of the run than King Colorado, and stepping up in distance only benefits RIFF Rocket more than King Colorado. Also, RIFF Rocket's drawn for a better run than King Colorado. V8, I think, can win, but I just think RIFF Rocket's better suited at 1600 meters. I think Snow Patrol can run really well as to Southport Tycoon. And a horse that I think is way over the odds at about 67s, I think it is Run Harry Run. This horse produced some really good ratings last preparation and just didn't appreciate the hot tempo first up in the CS Hayes, sitting too close to the speed. I just think it's worth something really small, maybe 1/3, 1/4 each way. So that's my look at the Australian Guineas. Happy with RIFF Rocket. Race number 9 is the Group 2 Blamey Stakes over the 1600 metres. I'm pretty sure it's a win and you're in the All-Star Mile. This was a replay of the CF4 Stakes last start, featuring the runs of Ayrton, A Tissue and Bustler, but I've only highlighted Ayrton and A Tissue because I think they're the 2 to take out of this race. My on-top selection would be one of these 2 horses, and I'm really struggling to split them. Ayrton is not a Group 1 horse, that's for sure, as we've come to know over its career. It's good for a listed race in terms of its chance, and for a Group 3, Group 2 race, it's sort of in the market. It's drawn for a good run here. 1600 metres is a minor query. For A Tissue, it's a proven Group 1 winner. Stepping up to the 1600 metres is ideal. Didn't get any favours last start, but Ayrton still beat it by 4 lengths last start, and A Tissue might be a little bit flat off that run, second up, being its first up run last start, whereas Ayrton has had the race fitness and might be able to handle it better. That's the things you got to weigh up with comparing these two, A Tissue and Ayrton. Originally, I was in the corner of Ayrton, but I'm swinging more to A Tissue now, but I'm still very even on the 2's chances. Race 10 to finish the day is a benchmark 84 over the 1400 metres. So Risque and He's Our Bonneval share favouritism at the moment. This was the last start runs of both Aaron Bay and He's Our Bonneval. I'm having 1 unit the win on Aaron Bay and 1 unit the win on He's Our Bonneval. What you don't see from the final 400 metres, well, you see the final 400, but what you don't see from the earlier part of the race is that Aaron Bay gets trapped 3 wide, no cover, and He's Our Bonneval has Aaron Bay's back for most of the race. So I think Aaron Bay, now second up, can settle on speed, stays at the 1400 metres. I just think is well suited. He's Our Bonneval, also a very good run last start, draws for a better run this start, and I also like its chances. So Risque, I think, is a tad short at the moment at $5 compared to He's Our Bonneval and Aaron Bay. Frigid could win first up, but I'm not going to have it. 1 unit the win Aaron Bay, 1 unit the win He's Our Bonneval for me. Now it's time for the quaddie. Still haven't won one. Mr. Brightside and Revolutionary Miss were the only 2 winners that I had last week in the quaddie. Got blown out by Hayasugi and Q-Man. But we move on to this week, having 7 in the English Sprint. Number 1, Caballas. Number 2, Rye Coke. Number 6, Lazargo. Number 8, Estriella. Number 10, Brazen Style. And then 2 value picks. Number 12, Cadol. And number 13, Chevron. 100 to 1 being ridden by Damien Lane. Had to throw that in. Race 8, I'm just going 1 out RIFF Rocket, so it gives me the license to spend or put more horses in the other legs. So 1 out RIFF Rocket in the Australian Guineas. In the Blamey Stakes, going for number 2, A Tissue. Number 4, Miramasa, I think. Number 5, Ayrton. Number 7, Captain Envious. And number 10, Panfield. And then in the last race, going for number 2, So Risque. Number 4, Aaron Bay. Number 5, Lounge Bar Ruby. And number 7, He's Our Bonneval. That's the quaddie. Well, everyone, thank you for watching my preview for Australian Guineas Day. Hopefully this week's a winning week again, much the same as last week. We just have to hope. Hopefully a few of the horses that I've highlighted can get up. Hopefully I've tipped you into a winner. And if you're still watching, Moonee Valley on YouTube community, I'm going to be doing my ratings for Moonee Valley. So they're going to be hopefully pretty good tips, because Crimson Light's most likely running and I'm most likely going to be in attendance. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned for those tips, Moonee Valley, as well as the full set for Flemington on Saturday morning. Hopefully I've tipped you into a winner, and I'll see you for the preview next week.